All right, folks. Well, welcome back to the On Our Stage podcast. I'm your host, Greg, here. And this week, I am here with Mr. Stefan Marks. He is a playwright, a award-winning actor and producer, and he recently had his one-person show, my one-woman show, The Search for a Moment of Truth, or The Search for a Truthful Moment, at the NOMINEE Theater, where it had a sold-out, critically acclaimed, award-winning run at this year's Hollywood Fringe Festival. And now he's going to be joining us on the LA Freeway circuit as we take the best of our stages to a stage near you if you live in greater Los Angeles County. So we are going to be going to, we just announced the first 3 dates. We've got 3 more on the back end coming in the beginning of 2027. But our first 3 dates are August 1st at the Electric Lodge in Venice, Theater 68 Arts Complex in North Hollywood, and Outside In Theater in their Art Box Theater on November 14th. Yes, that's correct. And it's September 19th for Theater 68. Totally great, flawless intro. Stefan, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining me today.
That's it. Apparently, we're done. I got everything I need.
Mic drop. I'm out. Yeah.
You good on your end? No, that was fantastic.
Thank you.
Very good. No, very excited to be a part of it. Thanks.
So glad to have you, man. So you, I gave a little bit of an intro, but man, I'll be honest, okay? I didn't know, I wasn't familiar with your game, sir. I wasn't familiar with your moves back before you came and joined us at the NOMINEE, and then brought the house down, constantly selling out multiple performances to the point where we added 3 performances to your run and sold those out too. Yeah. I was not familiar with your game, sir. So imagine, it was amazing, but it was no shock at all when I started looking you up before we had our conversation here. And I'm like, oh, playwright with 25 years in the game here in LA, multiple TV credits, Ovation award-winning writer and actor. I'm like, oh no, this makes perfect sense. And I was not aware of who you were before you came in, but we're so glad that you graced us with your presence here at the NOMINEE, and I'm so glad to be collaborating with you on this. But I gave you a little bit of an intro. Tell me, what else would you like us to know about you?
Nothing.
Good.
Yeah,
done.
Very kind. No, I think that what you say is true, is that that even though LA is a huge town, there's so many people doing theater, been doing it for years, and we're sort of insulated. So one of the cool things for me, I've always self-produced. So I have theaters that I'll just go rent the theater, do it all myself. And it's exhausting, especially when you're directing. And I'm not always in the plays, but if it feels right, then I'll perform in it. But it's a lot of work, as you know, as you both know extremely well, that, if you're doing everything, then sometimes it can sort of sap your energy and really tire you out. But I've never done the Fringe before. I've seen many shows for friends have been doing shows, and I was like, I think this, might be the time to try it. And then I met with Jen first, and I was super impressed. And I was like, she really seems to know what she's doing. And so I didn't see anybody else. I was like, this is great. I said, I hope Greg is good, and you weren't, but 1 out of 2. No, it was really. It was so nice to just have the pressure taken off of that aspect of it. It was like, I think one of the things you guys always say is, that Dan would also say is, we got you, or I got your back, or you know what it is. But it was just, it's true. There's a feeling, a really great feeling of that you're in good hands. And so I felt very comfortable just kind of taking that off my plate, not having to worry about the venue and the front of house. And, it is a 1-person show, but it's not a 1-person show, because it was Dan in the booth, or it was front of house with Bella or Roman, whoever was doing it. And then that night, and then you guys obviously being the venue managers and stuff, it's vastly important. So been doing it for a while, but was happy to meet you guys, and the Fringe experience was a blast.
I'm deeply touched. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, it's truly our pleasure. We love facilitating our artists and making it easier for y'all we're artists too. I'm a writer and actor myself, but we love making it easier for artists to be able to apply their craft, take some of that load off, because it is incredibly difficult being a self-starter, and it takes a lot of gumption, a lot of guts, a lot of chutzpah to get out there and just put your own work out there. And we've been the ones balancing all the plates and keeping them spinning, and whatever we can do to help take some of that burden off, and just be like, handled. You know, like that's what we love to do. So I'm so glad that that was your experience and that we were able to deliver on everything that we were promised in a fashion that was satisfactory. You know, that's important.
Yeah. It's exciting to do that. And, you know, there's so many shows, like you do a Fringe festival at the end of the month, you know, you're kind of like, oh, I saw 11, 12, 13 different shows out of 500, you know, so you still feel like, oh, I wish I would have seen that. But it happened even with the Ovation Awards, which you mentioned years ago. The Ovation Awards were like a year after we'd done all the plays. So by the time the awards come out, it's like, I'm going to go see that play that closed last year. And you missed a lot of things, but it's great to do this and meet new people, add new people to the mailing list, and go see their shows as well. So it's really cool.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's talk about my one-woman show. This was your show this year, my one-woman show, The Search for a Truthful Moment. It was undoubtedly both a critical and a commercial hit at the Hollywood Fringe Festival this year, in the year of our Lord 2026. This show was a juggernaut, and I say this because we've been doing the Fringe since it started in 2010. You know, we started as producers. We got our first venue in 2017. We've been on both sides of this game now for the better part of 10 years. We haven't seen a show like yours that just comes in and sells out, adds multiple performances, hits all the right notes. Like you're unstoppable. It was an absolutely incredible production. What inspired you to create this work, and how did you come up with the premise?
That's a lot.
Let's start off with something easy. You know, softball. Yeah.
Yes. It's not a what. That's a lot. I think I've always joked that if I was going to do a one-person show, it would be called my one-woman show, if I was actually going to be in it. So I had no idea why. I was just like, the joke would be, of course, it's going to be called my one-woman show. Yeah. I'm working on a piece with the band that I'm in, and scheduling conflicts and stuff as they were this year, we realized this was not the right year to do it. And I've never done a Fringe show, and it was like the end of January. So I was like, I think I'm, you know, every year I would go to the website and go, when's the deadline? And very scared of it. And this year I was like, well, I really don't have an excuse not to. So I think I met with Jen on February 12th. Well, not that that matters, but I'm saying it's like January 25th, I started writing. I wrote the first draft in about 5 hours. I mean, just straight through, just wrote the whole thing because I wanted to, and then you'd go back but it just kind of, it's one of the situations, you know, when you write something and you're like, it's just flowing. And when I started writing it, I didn't know why it was called my one-woman show, except that was the joke that I came up with years before to friends. And then halfway through the process, I like compartmentalizing. If I'm writing something, directing it, I try not to direct while I'm writing. I try not to act while I'm writing. Just think about it in little sections. So in the writing process, I really enjoy not knowing everything. And so when I'm writing something, going through it, about halfway through the process, I was like, oh, that's why it's called this. And it made perfect sense. And everything, and moments like that, when they happen, you're like, oh yeah, that's the right answer. It's not like, oh, that's the best answer. It's like, it's the only answer that makes sense for me. And that's the fun part of being creative for me, is not knowing where it's going to go, whether it's writing, whether it's a performance. You know, I like to prepare as much as possible, but then stuff happens during a live show where you're like, okay, I got to pivot.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
So without revealing why the title is the title, I think it's personally the best title for the play.
Well, and knowing and having seen the show, I have to concur, because I thought that the character's reasoning in that moment was perfect. I thought it perfectly encapsulated the individual and their reasoning and the whole process up to that point. I was like, that tracks. And it's again, without spoiling, it's one of those moments that I thought really brought the house down, you know. So
I mean, it does get into the whole nature of what a one-person show is, and kind of the tropes, and it's a little bit of fun. It's mild satire as far as that goes, because obviously being a performer, being somebody who creates stuff, I have a lot of compassion for what the process of creating is and the
Yeah.
struggles. The 2 a.m, you think this is the best thing ever. And then you wake up and read it the next morning and you're crying going, I need to burn everything. It's
Yeah.
it's it's
Hmm.
terrible. So the fact
I
that
don't.
anybody produces anything is a gift, because you have to have that kind of blind courage to say, all right, I believe in it enough to put it up, and I hope
Yeah.
other people enjoy it. But you never know.
Absolutely. Well, and I think it takes a lot of skill to craft a tale around something that's just started as a joke title, uh, that becomes compelling and deep. And it starts out as incredibly funny, but even the critics noticed how the tone shifts. Very satirical, funny at first, and then you hit them with the gut punch in at the Act Two, Act Three line right there, and it's suddenly just devastating. Was that intentional from the start, or was this just a product of the fugue state that you were in when you put out the first draft? Or like did you have like the arc in mind, or was it just something you discovered?
I did, yeah. Going back to the discovery process of writing something, I didn't know where it was going to go, and like I said, that's the excitement. That's kind of the fun of it.
Mhm.
I think the tone shift is intentional, because with what happens in the play, in the real world, it's
Mhm.
kind of a symbolic representation of that. It's kind of like things are going great, everything's pretty wonderful, and then boom,
Yeah.
instantly something changes. And it
Yeah.
happens to all of us. It's like, I remember, you know, driving down the same road in my neighborhood, and there's a wedding at the church, and you drive by it every day, and there's people outside celebrating. And then Tuesday, there's people and there's a funeral.
Yeah.
And it's a different group of people every day. And sometimes it's a celebration, and sometimes it still could be a celebration if somebody passes, but it's all part of life. And there's ups and downs. And I have compassion for other people's sorrow and angst. And I know it happens to all of us. And I think what makes it interesting and is how we deal with it, how we move through it. And so I didn't want it to be a situation where, oh, this is going to be a depressing story, because I don't
Yeah.
get depressed doing it. I mean, I'm not out there thinking, oh, I got to do this again. I'm like, you know, let's go out and find new things. Let's go
Absolutely.
out and find new things. All one of us. Hey, everybody, group huddle. Yeah, but no, it's exciting to have the opportunity to go out there every night and find new stuff. That's the whole point. That's what makes it exciting.
Oh my God, absolutely. Well, and speaking of finding stuff, at one point you pick up a guitar partway through. I love how it is kind of Chekhov's guitar from the beginning, and you even kind of call it out. Not to spoil a joke, but there's a great moment with the guitar in the beginning, and then you bring it back around full circle at the end. What made you want to incorporate that? I mean, I know you're a member of the Four Postmen, which
Uh-huh.
ironically is it ironic? Side note, real quick, is it ironic that you guys have 5 members and you're called the Four Postmen?
Well, originally there were three,
Oh, okay.
because it was a guys we met in college, and it was like, let's call ourselves based on all those groups, like the Four Tops. And but even before my time, there were all
Yeah.
these bands called the Four whatever. So we said, we'll
Hmm.
call ourselves the Four Postmen. We'll wear postal outfits, and there's three of us. Done. And but then we were like, let's add a drummer. But then it was four people, and it was
Yeah.
like, this doesn't make sense.
Two
So
on the nose. Yeah.
we're like, we need a bass player. And it was the best thing about the band is that it's five friends from college, known each other forever,
Hmm.
and we keep performing because we love each other and we love creating music together. It's really cool to be able to just we show up in the garage, somebody brings in a new song, and 15 minutes later we're all playing it, because we kind of know now there's a shorthand. It's like, okay, what if you do this? And it's fun to build stuff like that quickly. And then to go out and do a show is just it's good fun. But I met those guys in college back at Cal State Northridge,
Hmm.
and in, I guess, '89. So a long time ago, many moons. And we've been friends ever since, performing as a band since '92.
Oh, wow.
And so music, even back then in '89, I started writing plays in '86. I realized it's been 40 years this year. But I always, even in '89, I was like, I met a friend who had a guitar and he was really great on the guitar. He's in the band now. His name's Ken. And I was like, what if you play live music in this? And I wrote some songs and we ended up putting in, and it has become a kind of a part of my plays. Not everyone, but there's a lot of times there's live music in the shows. So for this one, I'm always kind of like, will there be? And the answer was, yes, there will be a little bit. But long-winded way of saying, hope that helps.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Well, and okay, so what made you want to incorporate the guitar and the music into my one woman show? Like, was that just like just a natural thing that just kind of came of it, or was that a conscious decision?
Not to give everything away. No, but there's a song in the play that is called Best Friend. And it's a song that I wrote a long time ago about my best friend. And so when I, again, was writing this, I didn't know that song was going to be in it, but it was already written. So once I knew what the play was and ultimately going to be about, it was like, oh, that song has to be in there too, because it's for her. It really is. It's like, so when it gets to a point of when a song is being played in there, at that moment for me, it's like, I'm not the greatest singer in the world. I'm not the greatest guitar player in the world. I'm not the greatest. I'm probably the greatest guitar player and singer in my apartment. Probably.
Okay. All right.
You can quote me on that. Probably. And I live alone. But that being said, I think that there is, if something is performed from a place of, I look at it, if I sing that song, I'm singing it for her. That's what I feel. So in the same way that I would if she was alive and sitting there and looking at me and criticizing it and being, because one of the things, you know, spoiler, she's not alive anymore. You can edit that out if you want. It's up to you, but you don't have to. But for me, performing a song for somebody is very vulnerable.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, if it's not your day job. So if you're doing that, it's a vulnerable place to go. So I like pushing myself into those places, and I feel like it's a gift, maybe one that they don't want, but it's a gift. It's a gift that you give, and hopefully the person appreciates it and appreciates the sentiment behind it. And that really, in those moments when the music comes up, the second song in particular, it's for her.
I love that. I love that. And yeah, that is, I think that you're referring to that moment of the show. I think that is one of those gut punch moments that everybody's referring to, but it is beautiful and it is heartfelt. And it's the kind of thing that, you know, when I watched it, it literally took my breath away. So like having, yeah, I can't wait I'm so glad that we have the opportunity to share that with new audiences. You know, I think it's, yeah, fantastic.
I think it's, go ahead, Greg.
Oh yeah. And now I was going to move on to the next question, but if you got something else you want to add on to, you're more than welcome.
I was just going to say you know, I think you mentioned before that, you know, obviously the meaning of the title, what it means, is important for me, that the play still has resonance, even if somebody knows what the title means, that it's still, because I've had friends, I had lunch with a friend today, and he's like, I didn't see where it was going, and I knew where it was probably going. And he goes, and I didn't know where it was going. And I have friends that have known me for years who had no clue. I didn't tell my parents. My parents had no idea. The only people that I told beforehand were her parents.
Oh, wow.
Because I didn't want them to feel any kind of, ambushed or anything like that. So they were the only people I told. And, you know, but still, I want the thing to be able to work no matter what, you know, no matter what you know or don't know coming in.
Fair. Well, and, you know, we talk about you playing music during the show, but you're also a one-man band in this thing in another sense, in the sense that you are the writer, director, and performer of this, wearing all three hats. That's unusual to find that someone who is able to who is self-direct.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, but being able to self-direct their own material, I mean, that takes, and have it do it well. I mean, I think the qualifier here is that there's plenty of people who try to do it, but doing it well takes real honest to God skill. Is there one that you prefer over the other? Or is there any way that you feel yourself particularly leaning at any point during the process that as like your favorite?
I would say writing is something that I've always known that I kind of had to do. And that I wanted to do. It's something I have stacks of writing in the cupboards in the bedroom from when I was like 6 or 7 years old, and just writing things out. I have stuff that I wrote in high school, short stories or whatever. And I've always known that I want to do it. And to go back and look at the stuff and not judge it, but just look at it and go, oh, this is where I was at that point, is really kind of cool. I don't have that with acting. I've always loved movies. And going to see films, but it's obviously much easier to produce a play in LA and just get it put up and expose it to a crowd. But I don't really enjoy acting in stuff, like in other things. It's not something that I enjoy doing unless I wrote it. If I wrote it, then I feel connected to it, and I feel like if it's right to do it, great. I went to school for directing, and I really loved that. And I think directing myself, whether or not it's successful or works, I think I leave that up to the audience. If they didn't think it was distracting, or if they, weren't bothered with it, then I consider it successful. I'm reading that. Wait a minute, the Freeway secret. It's coming.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No. Either.
I thought I'd throw that up there. I want to make sure people know what we're talking about and where to go to learn more. Yeah. Absolutely.
I was just making sure nothing bad happened. I was reading it. Oh no, Trump's.
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off there. Yeah, and yeah, I can see that. I can see what you're talking about. Now, but doing it all yourself, that is an unusual process because theater by its nature is usually a collaborative art, and you even talked about how it's a collaboration even with the door staff, the stage manager, the house staff, everybody. So even in a one-man band scenario, you're still in conversation with other folks involved, other, I guess, stakeholders. But do you prefer the one-man band approach, or do you prefer working in a collaboration, or does it depend on the project?
Depends on the project. I have most of my really good friends are from college and from acting and doing plays together. Lighting designer friend Mark, we've done like 14 shows together. We did shows in school together. That's how we met. And working with, I have tons of friends that are actors that act in plays that I do. And I think you learn. When I write something, I'm not necessarily thinking that I know how should be performed. So when you cast an actor in the part, I've learned a ton from other actors and what they, think about something. Or if a costumer says, hey, what if it looks like this, or a lighting designer, anything. I think you learn from doing it, and you can't have all the answers going in. Otherwise, what's the point of doing it? You know, and learn from other people.
Absolutely. But sometimes you get the right project, you get the right inspiration, and it's like, I got this, like I think that there is a time and a place for that.
Yeah. People definitely said, you're going to film it, and you're going to watch it, or have somebody come in and look at it. And I'm like, no, I didn't want to I didn't want to be looking at it from the outside and thinking about that while I'm on stage. I didn't want to be sitting there going like, oh, my hair is worse than I thought, which I already have to do. If you videotape something and you have to have a copy of it, I'm like, you see yourself in ways that you don't ever want to see yourself, but it's the truth. Yeah. So I look at it from a point of view as if I'm performing in something, I just try to get better each time. And so I will have notes to myself. I don't say them out loud because that'd be crazy. but I do, after every performance, I'm like, well, what if I try this? Or if I think back about something, try not to be in my head while I'm performing, but definitely you come up with things to go, well, if I try this, that might be better or more dramatically successful, or this might be funnier if I link this, don't take a pause there. And I have made a couple changes from the Fringe run to now, but there's some, and I want to try it out, see how it goes. And then, then you have then you have 5 weeks off before North Hollywood. So that's really exciting, actually.
Absolutely. You'll have the opportunity to let it grow and breathe as the process goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, going back to Fringe, you said this was the first time you'd ever done a Fringe festival before. Yeah. Obviously this was the premiere of the work. What did performing at the Fringe, what was that experience like for you? And how did it shape or influence the piece at all? Two separate questions there, both of them very, very large answers, I'm sure. So, take your time.
Yeah, I was really excited with what Lois and the people Roddy. I've heard, although Dan says it's pronounced Roddy. So do you know, is it Roddy or Roddy? Do you know?
I think it's Roddy. I think it's Roddy.
Roddy,
please get in the comments and please tell me if we're wrong.
He was amazing and so helpful. Very kind, did the one-on-one Zooms with me, looking at me sometimes like, are you kidding? You can't possibly be asking that question. He never let that on. He was great. And just the enthusiasm, and it's a lot of youth, but it's a great energy. And they really seem to know what they're doing. And there's a lot of excitement. And I've been watching, like I said, other Fringe shows for years. And there just seemed to be a different energy this year.
Yeah.
Maybe last couple of years, but just like everything's packed. Obviously, if you're anywhere near the Broadwater, it's like, okay, this is a scene, and you're in one line.
They got 108 shows this year. Everybody was, and all within one building. Yeah, it's going to be crowded and busy all the time. Yeah.
So we need a bar right there at the Madani.
Yeah. Oh no, I agree.
Well, I mean, Fat Cells, they got a lot of business from me, because I would just tell people how convenient it was to literally go over there, eat, and then it's like 1.5 minute walk to the theater. It was great.
Absolutely. And we've got the Electric Owl over at the Hobgoblin. We gave them a lot of business too. They close at 9 o'clock though. Like what bar does that?
Yeah,
that's weird. Yeah.
But they open at 6 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. They're great for St. Patrick's Day, Yeah.
Second question, you said, have things changed the process of doing it? You get in and get out.
Yeah.
I wish I was younger, but I'm not. But I still have a lot of energy. But still, it doesn't make me want to go at my age to Scotland, because I'm a shy person, introverted. So handing out flyers on the street and saying, come see my show, has never been in my comfort zone. I still think it should be. It should be. And I wish I could do it. And if I had a friend, I'll do it. I'll do it next year if somebody wants to go with me, but I can't do it alone. I'm not good at that stuff.
We'll be producing shows going to Scotland next year, so you just let us know. Yeah.
All right, I'll work on my Scottish accent.
There you go. They'll love that.
That's exactly what they want.
Yeah. It always goes over. So a friend of ours did a show where she played a grown-up version of Wendy from Peter Pan in Scotland. She did the British accent. And I remember sitting there going like, oh boy, this is like when I watched MI6 for years, and they had the American CIA agents, and in one sentence I heard the accent go from New York to Chicago to the Deep South, and I was just like, I hope we're not doing the same thing to them right now. But they seem to be in good humor about it. They're used to Americans bastardizing it.
Yeah, what's really cool is in a festival situation, everybody's super supportive.
Yeah.
So going back to that, it's just like you see a show, the fact that so much can be done so quickly. It's like I was like, am I going to have enough time to get inside set up, do it? Yes, you do have enough time. You have plenty of time. And then the next show goes up, and it's great. It's really cool to be a part of that. It's exciting that it's 5-6 shows a day, going on in one space.
Yeah,
great.
Absolutely.
Freeway.
Scotland's even crazier. Like they'll go for like 7 days a week. They're going from 10 in the morning to midnight. It's that like
I
they're
want
going
to
at.
do it. I want
I'm
to
sorry.
do it. I get scared. I'm saying I would love to do it. I
Yeah.
get scared. But
Well, like I said, we're looking at bringing a pack of shows over next year, so we could definitely talk about that. Like you will go with friends. You will not be alone.
I'll be another year older, Greg. It doesn't go reverse. I want Benjamin Button this thing.
Yeah. I mean, well, okay. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking? I mean,
who cares?
yeah.
50.
58? Okay. I mean, 59. Oh, well, that changes everything. Okay. Yeah. No, forget it. Yeah.
No,
too old.
it was interesting. I was 29. Well, when this play stuff happens. And then, so now that was one of the reasons why I was like, okay, now I have to do it now, because I was like, 30 years ago was another reason why, I want to address that. But I still, honestly, one of the things was, if not now, when? That's why I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready to do the Fringe this year. And I did think to myself, you're going to be more ready next year? Just try it. Do your best. And I don't think in my work ethic for myself, my quote unquote motivational direction to myself was work harder. That's what just 2 words I said, work harder. On the writing, I joined a gym. It's not doing anything, but I would just have the lines in there and I'd be doing the treadmill and just listening. And I'm like, be as prepared as you possibly can. Whatever happens after that, can't control it, but you can control whether or not you attempt. And so that's where I'm at right now, mentally and creatively. It's like, do what you want, try it at least. So
Absolutely. No, I love that. And just the idea of, if not now, when, and are you going to be any more ready next year? Yeah. I mean, I think that's a wonderful lesson to take from all this. It's just like, you're never really going to be ready.
no.
So you just got to just jump in and do it, Yeah. And you'd mentioned that with the show going from Fringe to the Lodge to Theater 68 to Outside In to the back half of the tour, that the show is already grown and changed and is going to continue to evolve. So that kind of answers my question about, do you see this as a finished work or something that's going to evolve? Obviously, it is evolving, but do you have any, without giving away too many spoilers potentially, how like do you know of any like solid changes that people can expect when they come to see it in Venice?
There's a couple technical changes.
Okay.
Which you're like, no, but just like a couple, that'll screw everything up. No, it's subtle stuff. It really isn't major, but really it comes down to the script. I look at the script as being, go through it, look at everything and see if I can justify it. And maybe there's things that it might be okay in the writing. It's not a writing problem. It's just, I haven't achieved something performance wise yet. So, and you're going to get different audiences every night. I love when people say it was a bad audience. And I'm always like, I get the sentiment that you say it was a bad audience, but I always laugh at that because I'm always like, it's not like Martians are in the audience, some other species that doesn't have any idea what you're doing. It's all the same thing. So I think, I enjoy going on the ride every night, no matter who's out there. And I think I get most excited about actually performing the show in front of people that I don't know, where it's not like, hey, I came to the show because, we're friends.
Yeah.
But I never see plays unless it's one of your plays. So my mom tells me literally every time she comes to the play, she feels it necessary to remind me before she comes, I don't like plays. That's the first line. And I'm like, I know you. I know. She goes, just so you know, I don't like plays. And I'm like,
in case you forgot. Yeah.
I know you don't. I know you don't.
Yeah. You've only been doing this 25 years. Yeah.
There was a play I did a couple of years ago where my character killed his mother with a knife. And I said, and she literally said before she saw it, I don't like plays. She says it every time. And I go, you're really not going to like this play. and she enjoyed it. She had a good time. She always has a good time when she comes and sees it. You know, when she gets out and she sees it, but she goes in, prefaces it, you know, I'm not going to like this. And then she
Yeah.
always does. She
I'm
loved
sure
this.
it does.
So it was good.
Yeah. Got to take her out and see some more stuff too. So then she'll recognize how much better your stuff is. You know,
Right.
she needs a little A/B testing. Yeah.
You said it. I didn't say it, Greg.
Well, you know, I
Right.
think good work needs to be recognized. And, you know, sometimes when all you're being served is filet mignon, you got to know what a hamburger tastes like. So,
Well played. Well
yeah.
played. No, I mean, it's like she's very supportive. She's extremely supportive. I joke about that. But you know, both my parents have always said, do whatever you want to do. As long there was no like, oh, you better have a backup plan. There was none of that. Like, do whatever you want. Just be a good person, or try to be.
Yeah. God bless. That's great. That's wonderful to have that kind of support.
Supportive, creative parents. How'd that happen?
Yeah, right.
They're both creative people, so they understand, I think.
Nice. They get it. They get it on a instinctual level. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. So with moving on here a little bit, one could say that thanks to institutions like the Fringe festivals and smaller events like Solo Fest, that solo autobiographical shows are kind of having a moment right now. What do you think makes the genre resonate so much with audiences lately, and what were you consciously trying to do differently from that?
Yeah, I always resisted the idea of doing a solo show because I'm not comfortable talking about myself, which is why I said yes when you said, let's talk about your show and you. But I'm not usually comfortable doing it. And I think one of the beauties of writing a play is that you can hide your real feelings in there. If it's through a character, you can put in your real feelings, and maybe some are your real feelings and some aren't. But if you go into a solo show and say this is an autobiographical piece, it's not in my comfort zone. So it was important for me to begin the play with a big lie. And the biggest lie is that it's my one-woman show. It's not. It's so much. And then to start the play with a lie, to say I got kicked out of a develop your own one-person show workshop. It's not a spoiler to say that happens like in the first 12 seconds. So, but I wanted to start with a lie and end with the truth. So kind of get to a place where you mix in some lies, you mix in some truth. But for me, it couldn't be like, I grew up and this is my childhood. I can't share that stuff. It just, for me, doesn't work. I love watching other people do it, and you know, bless them. I think it's great, and everybody has a different style. And for me, it was much more about trying to find a way to do a play like this. It would be very difficult for me to do a one-person show about me, you know, personally. But I've already, you know, because I did this, I have been thinking about if I ever did another one-person show, what would it be? So I think doing this has definitely made me think about the possibility down the road.
Nice. Is there a solo show, you know, somebody else's that changed how you think about the form, or really kind of like set a mold for you? Is there one that you found like particularly influential or inspiring?
This year I saw Freedom in Limbo. I hope that's exactly the title.
Yes.
But it was just very affecting. I didn't know her at all, but because she was doing a show at the Madnani as well, and you set it up to where, you know, the great thing about doing a Fringe show is you can expose the work to other people and then see their shows. You do trade outs or comps and say, come see mine, I'm going to come see your show. So I had never met her and went and saw the performance, and I was just, I always like plays where you're kind of jolted a little bit. And obviously we know a little bit of what's going on in Iran. I had Iranian friends growing up as a child, but just the reality that she went through and still goes through, and it's so outside my world. And it shouldn't be. In some ways it should not be, because, you know, especially with the 250th anniversary of freedom and our country's independence and stuff like that, what we're going through as a country now, it really was emotionally charged. I felt, oh, wow, right. And that's what I think, for me, the best theater does. It's like you go in as a blank slate, it's just an audience member, and you're exposed to something different. And then you just go, oh, this is really cool. I didn't see this coming, or you just feel different going out. That's the best thing, is, are you thinking about it when you leave?
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember sitting in tech for her show, just watching those projections of, all the artists, the stories of all the artists who have been rounded up and killed by the, yeah, just, I walked out of that tech shaken,
Well,
just,
yeah, and you appreciate what you have, but you also have sympathy for what other people don't have.
yeah,
And,
absolutely.
Of course, I'm sitting there going like, well, I should just give it all up and go help other people in another country. And part of me would do that and thinks like, yeah, I might still end up doing that one day. Because when you see a piece like that, it's hard to find. You have to kind of like search for meaning in your own life and be like, does this really matter? If this stuff is going on in the world, if other people don't have the same freedoms and stuff. But then I think through art, you can actually, what she's doing is make a difference through creating something, make a difference through expressing this and exposing other people to it. That's extremely powerful, and important.
Absolutely.
It's one of the things I always worry about when I write a play. You think, is it universal enough? And then, of course, what they tell you is be specific to your own life, and just, you can think small. But, very often the self-doubt and stuff that creeps in as you go, is anyone going to care about this little story or about this thing that happened? Mm-hmm. And I think, as a writer, you have to care about it first. And if you do, then explore it and see. Hopefully other people will come along.
So you grew up wanting to be an artist. Yeah. I mean, you said you started writing as a child and just felt like that need to become like a storyteller. What was like do you have like a first memory of like wanting to be on stage, or what your first memory on stage was, or was that even your preferred medium in your youth besides writing? Like
movies.
What made you want to get up in front of people?
I remember, I don't know that I do want to get up in front of people. It's a weird thing.
Oh, wow.
I still don't, like I said, I don't crave performance. I do enjoy playing music with the band, but I don't ever want to listen to it. I don't listen to the recording. The recording process is always horrible for them, because they're like, don't you want it? I'm like, nah, I'll never listen to this. Just let's record it. Other people go, but I just want to do it. And I think as a kid, I was always extremely shy, extremely nervous. So I would watch movies and be like, oh my God, I would love to do a movie, to disappear into that world. But the reality of acting, especially, at my level, it's like you might have a scene in a TV show and you're supporting somebody else's, but I'm not the lead in that. So not that I have to be the lead, but I haven't had any acting experiences that I enjoy too much, like where I'm like, that was great. Unless it's something, like I said, that I wrote that I can explore, that I can, I write it and then I can further explore it in the performance. Can't really do that too much on a TV show. If I'm like, hey, director, I'd like to try something here. And they're like, just leave.
Yeah.
You don't.
They're like, no. You've got 3 lines. Just say the fucking lines. Yeah.
I wrote a whole play once about, I was on a TV show as a bartender and I had one joke. And I showed up to do the thing and I'm like excited to be on this TV show. And the second I arrived, the first day where I'm watching all the other actors and everybody's happy and meet and greet. We have lunch. We come back from lunch and everybody looks like somebody died. And I'm like, what happened? What's going on? And I heard literally all these actors found out that the show had been canceled after lunch. And they still have to do the show this week. So I was in the last episode of the show. So I was like, and they took my joke, which was one joke, which I can't even remember. One joke, they're paying me like, this was a while ago, but they're paying me a good amount of money to do one bit. Now nobody could care. They're like, We don't know what we're doing next week. They're miserable. Everybody, and it's a comedy. And they kept cutting my one joke down. It was 3 lines, and then it became 2, and then it became literally, I said, "Can I get you a drink?" And they're like, "That's too much. Just stand in front of her and polish the." They were so miserable, and I was like there for the week. And the best thing that came out of that was I took that idea and wrote a play called Sitcom the Play, and it was behind the scenes of a TV show that's canceled.
Oh,
And
man.
it was great. So that one being fired, I was just like privy as a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern type character in the background, just observing everything. So I just started writing everything down and taking notes. But it was really weird to be in a place where people are supposed to be so happy, and everybody was so miserable. And, you know, but out of that came a play, and it, you know, that's sometimes where you find the stuff, is where you least expect it.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
They all went on. They're doing other stuff.
Yeah, sure, but still, that's
Horrible.
That's a moment to be a part of. Wow. Yeah.
I felt bad. I was just like, I knew I was only working one day or whatever. They had no idea. I had 1 week, but for them it was like, yeah.
Yeah, that was the job at that point, you know, like when you land a series regular, you know, your first one, at least, people are like, this is like house buying money. I'm changing my life. And then it's gone like that. You know, I've definitely heard stories of folks like that who put all the eggs in the basket, and then the basket breaks. It's like, oh God,
especially,
sorry.
Acting with a mortgage. It's like tough. It's a whole other stress level.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you mentioned that you went to Cal State Northridge, right down the road from where I live here in NoHo, and you were there on the Padua Hills Playwriting Scholarship while you were there. First off, what is that scholarship? Was that just like, I mean, I think it's all in the name, but I've wanted to hear a little details about it.
There's a lot of cool people that came out of there. Sam Shepard was a part of it. Roxanne Rogers, his sister, Murray Mednick, Leon Martell, a lot of really cool people. I went to Moore Park College first, junior college up in Moore Park. I did 2.5 years there. And then when I went to Northridge, I was like, did 3.5 more years there. So 6 years, all because I was having fun doing theater. Not because I was like, I got to get this done in 4 years so I can, you know, graduate from acting school and then dive into the marketplace. I was like, I'm learning, I'm having fun. But the Padua Hills was a summer program that they offered at the time. And I remember I got chickenpox, as one does when they're 20 years old. And I got chickenpox, so I missed about 1.5 weeks of it. But it was really cool because there was just a lot of very different stuff. Very, you know, interesting people that were actually writing stuff that we were reading in school. You know, we'd read a lot of stuff, a lot of Sam Shepard stuff, as everybody did in acting class. You'd read it and go, oh my God, this is really cool. I'm going to try not to steal this style, you know, in my own writing. But they were adults and they were all doing it. So it was inspiring to be a part of that. Definitely exciting to see, people, because I grew up reading Neil Simon and stuff. And these people were a little more out there in a good way. But definitely, you know, a lot of bizarre stuff, a lot of performance art type pieces, but it was interesting. It was very cool. It was nice, 20-year-old, kind of to say you can do whatever you want. You know, that's the biggest lesson I think from anything, is that you can try whatever you want. You know, there's no rule book for plays. You know, I don't think. I hope not.
Yeah. Art has no rules. Anything can be art. Absolutely. You know, and I think that's the difference between art and entertainment, is that entertainment is meant to be sold and prepackaged. And in order for it to be profitable, it has to appeal to the masses. Whereas art can be more selective and exclusive. It can be, you know, meant to appeal or speak to only certain groups of folks, you know, and sometimes you'll just put something out there for the sake of its own existence, and it resonates with whomever it resonates. It's not even necessarily intentional, but that's wonderful to be surrounded by and influenced by folks who have already set fire to the rule book and are just doing what they want, and being able to take that, if you can capture just like a little bit of that and be able to infuse your own work with it, it's just, yeah, it's like that spark of madness, you know?
Yeah,
That's
and being in school was a lot of that too. I remember they said, "Oh, you want to produce a student play?" And I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Okay, you get $100. That's your budget." And I was like, "What am I going to do with the other $99?"
yeah.
I don't need $100. I'm like, you have a theater. It's empty. It's beautiful, but it was definitely at Cal State Northridge. There was this idea in the student productions that we didn't need anything else other than words and lighting and an open space and talented actors and stuff like that, and just figure something out. Try to make less entertaining as opposed to making it less entertaining. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Oh, that's such a perfect way to put that. That is a profound way to put that. I love that. Try to make things less, or try to make less entertaining. I love that. And it really is like, it's like you had the Fringe ethos burned inside of you from your educational level.
No, definitely. Yeah. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 7.5 minutes, I think, to set up, and then they're in, and then you go. I'm like, let's do it.
Yeah.
It's great.
Absolutely.
Really exciting. I love that.
Same, dude. That's awesome. And and again, going back to the many hats thing, working in that level of that spark of madness, that less but entertaining. You wear all the hats, and you as we've established, you act, you write, you direct, you play in a band. It sounds like you started writing first, and then everything else kind of came out of necessity. What came post writing? What came next? Was it the band, or was it directing and acting?
Directing. I kind of knew that I wanted to direct, so I was directing plays at Moore Park Junior College. I knew I wanted to do theater, but I never did any theater in high school. It was just because it was a lot of musicals and stuff, and I was just not comfortable. I wasn't a singer, and I wasn't a dancer. I know it's hard to tell, but I was just like, I know I want to do plays. I just figured it would happen. And when I got to Moore Park College, the first semester I auditioned for something right away. I was like, I auditioned for something and started writing something else. So it was like pent up somehow. I wrote my first play the second semester and put it up. And, I remember the first time I was in the audience watching the play and the actors got laughs or whatever. And I was like, this charge of like, they liked that. And it was exciting to be in a room as a 19-year-old and write this full-length play. And I'm like, that's working. People are dying. They're going, and I'm like, this is really cool. Yeah. So I don't know why I thought it would work, because I'd never written a play before college, but I wrote and directed my first play. It was just like, I took directing classes and really liked the idea of, I look at the script as the blueprint, and then the director is the contractor or whatever, and takes that and you try to build it with the help of the actors and all the other designers and stuff like that. And you build the play. And then people get to do the walkthrough and see your house and decide whether or not they want to buy it, or no, thanks. Nah.
Yeah.
Or we love it. And, but that's the creative process. It's just, it's crazy and fun, crazy fun.
That's a perfect way to put it. So, it sounds like that, you're kind of like a quadruple threat, with the acting, the writing, the directing, and the music,
and the modeling,
and that, obviously, yeah. But it sounds like acting, pardon me for presuming, but acting is kind of like the least of the four of the focus, because writing being primary, directing secondary, and I'm kind of guessing that it's kind of like a 2-horse race in the back for the music. Not saying that they're not important, but just in the tiers, which is fascinating, because looking at your IMDb, you've got some amazing TV credits. I mean, you have the kind of TV career that I'm utterly envious of. So what made you want to get into doing TV and film?
The exact reason that nobody would ever do it: money. I was like, I was
wow.
Literally out of college. I was like, I'm not going to be an actor. And I have other friends that did, and they pursued it. And very stupidly, after about 3 or 4 years of not acting, I wasn't acting, I wasn't going for my SAG card or anything. And I was like, acting's easy. And I didn't mean it was easy. I'm like going, it's easy if you book it.
Yes.
It's really like, I'm never more appreciative. Somebody said like, oh, the talent's here. I always like when you show up and they say the talent is here. And I'm always like, I'm probably the least talented person on this set. So somebody here better know how to build this thing. I show up and I'm always appreciative. I'm like, wait, I get free food for this? This is awesome. So I always look at it like, I know I'm not going to ruin the production that day. Mm-hmm. Make sure I know what I'm supposed to do and it's like a great vacation. But I can't, logically, my mind can't get around that acting is about me unless it's in a play and I know that there's more, that I have more to do and that it is dependent upon me to kind of deliver a performance. I never feel that when I book something. I'm always super appreciative, glad to be there. But I also know that, I mean, it's usually about, there's plenty of people above me on the call sheet, and bless them. I wish that I could be there. It would be great to be a series regular, which you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
It's a dream of anyone, you know, to do it. But, and to be even a day player and to get a day's work on a TV show, I do not take it for granted. When it happens, it's a great gift. It's like awesome. It's, you know, I'm always very appreciative of it. But the other stuff, the writing and the band and all that stuff is something I feel like I can actually pursue. I don't feel like I can go to my agent and hold a gun to their head and say, give me an audition, you know.
Yeah, so, there's so much else about like trying to have a TV career in this town that is just wholly dependent on others. Yeah.
And it's gotten a lot more difficult, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, just the runaway production, the lack of jobs in town. Yeah, it's always tough. Yeah.
Hopefully it will get better.
Yeah. So is there, like, how do you strike the balance between, you know, being like a co-star or guest star on something like Bosch Legacy or Criminal Minds alongside doing this insanely personal solo theater? You know, I had a friend of mine years ago talked about how he booked a Lowe's commercial once, and he's like, I did this in a Lowe's commercial for 30 seconds so I could go play King Lear for free for the summer. You know, is it kind of like that for you, or is it just what happens? Or
I prefer doing commercials than a TV show. That's number one. Like if I do a commercial, I'm like, this is fantastic because you also get the food, but it's just really cool. You're working with sometimes even more people on a commercial. Yeah. It could be 95 people and you're the only, you know, you're acting in it with somebody or maybe you're alone, but it's just really insane that you kind of go, this is great. And it's a 30-second little nugget and you know, you're probably going to get residuals. So you are going to be overpaid to do whatever you do that day. But, it's just Bosch. I did Bosch, and it was funny because you probably didn't see the episode, but my therapist did. And this is my ex-therapist. I'm not going right now, but it was so sweet of her because what I actually ended up doing in Bosch, and I did my little part well, but I'm in that episode for about 4 seconds. So my therapist, sent me an email saying, I saw you on Bosch. And all I could say was, how did you recognize me? I mean, it's so the camera comes down. What they ended up with, it was like the camera comes down. It's like I'm there. I say like 1, 2 things. It's really dark and shadowy and cool looking. And I just could not believe she's so sweet. I'm like, thank you. And I was very appreciative that she saw it. And I think I did an amazing job for my 4 seconds. But you know, when you do something, you never know what it's going to be cut down to.
Yeah, no, never.
But again, so appreciative to have gotten to go there, meet new people, and do the work. Whatever the job is, I'm super appreciative of it. But if it's something like a play that I'm doing, it's not that I put more effort into it, but I think I'm going to get more out of it, out of the experience creatively. I'm going to feel more fulfilled by doing something. I'm obviously going to have a lot more struggles, but I think ultimately your friend is right. you do the commercial so that you can go play Lear or you can do those other things because you got lucky on something else.
Yeah. One literally feeds the other. That's the entertainment. Doing the entertainment lets you do the art. Yeah.
And personally, I enjoy them. I enjoy them all. And I love doing voiceover work. I've been, do a lot of voiceover stuff.
You've done a ton of that too. My God, like your IMDb is pretty impressive. I'll put that linked in the comments below, just so people can recognize your game.
Don't do it. Don't. No,
don't.
Right. Don't. No, I don't care. No, thank you. You're very kind.
Yeah. No, I was like, wait, because I've played some of the video games, and I'm going to pull it up right now because I'm imdb.com. Because I was like, I've definitely heard your voice in things.
And I don't mostly do video games either. Video games, I was going to say. Mostly I do I have done over the years, just commercials, voiceover commercials and stuff like that. And that's a blast. It's all different. But I feel very fortunate to have been able to do different things.
Absolutely. Well, man, I could go through all that later, but yeah, we'll like I said, we'll post it in the comments below so people could check you out. So looking back at plays that you've written, like Hello and Middle Eight, these are both stories about connection and people trying and failing to reach one another. Is there a thread or a common theme that that connects everything that you've written, including My One Woman Show? Is there something, a piece of material or like a theme that you keep going back to, being like, this is the story that I want to tell, this is the message that I want to put out in the ether? Is there a particular?
If I go back and read old plays that I've written, and I keep all of them, I have them on my computer now, of course, but it's interesting to go back. Sometimes before I write a new play, I'll go back and pick one that I wrote in 2000 or whatever, and just to see where I was at. And yeah, there are things. I had a friend come see My One Woman Show, and she was the lead actress in the last play that I did 2 years ago called Ophelia over at the Odyssey. And she played my mother. And she goes, "You took my line." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "Yeah, you literally say the line that I said in Ophelia." And I didn't even know. So I don't remember exactly what it was, but there's things even subconsciously that friends will say, "Oh yeah, you said that in this play. Yeah, that's coming up again." And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't see it." So I might not be aware of it as much as other people, supportive friends, would be. But I think with Hello specifically came out of a missed opportunity at a grocery store when I was 17, because I saw this girl. I was a grocery bagger, and I saw this girl, and I've never looked at somebody and had an experience where I looked at them, and neither of us were able to hide what we were feeling. We literally just like we just looked like, couldn't even move away, couldn't speak.
Yeah.
I was like, I've never been that transfixed. And she was looking at me exactly the same way. And I'm like, "You are so beautiful. You're not even made out of human." I couldn't, but I could not say hello. I could not speak. I literally was paralyzed. And she wouldn't say anything. And she came in with her mother, and she came in like 2 more times, and that's it. Then she disappeared.
Oh, man.
And I was like, I will get the courage to speak to her. And I didn't. So I wrote this play about what if I had, and it's but then I wrote that play for this actress that I had known since college. And I just got together with her at a restaurant and said, "Can we just read some stuff?" And then I went away and wrote it based on what we read that day. It wasn't even the play, but just getting her rhythms and stuff like that. And then for Hello, that was Hello. But for Middle Eight, it was a fictitious story, but it's the 5 guys in the band playing the characters. So I know those guys pretty well. So the idea is to come up with, and that's kind of like a full-blown musical. But it is dealing with things. There's always going to be things about, the band that never made it. I think the catchline was something like the world's greatest rock group you've never heard of. That was and that's kind of self-deprecating way of saying we didn't make it, but it doesn't mean we didn't try, or that is a recurring theme, definitely. Like I said, work harder. It doesn't mean you're going to even get what you want, but then at the end of the process, you realize that maybe you got what you needed, or something like that. You got what all you're supposed to get is what you got. You know?
The great British philosopher Jagger once said, "Can't always get what you want." Yep.
He is right.
Yep.
And no talent, no success for that man. He's never going to make it.
Yeah, no, I know. It's a miracle I knew that name at all, for real. Yeah. If you could go back in time and give yourself, knowing what you know now as the artist you are today, if you could go back and give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be?
Rogaine.
I mean, handy.
No, I mean, I remember having more confidence when I had good hair. Like yours, what the hell, Greg? It's awesome.
I lucked out, man. I'm not going bald. Yeah, no.
I should have known better. No, honestly, you do have more confidence when you feel better about who you are and how you look and all that stuff.
True.
But I think I don't know that I'd say work harder. I think I would have said earlier to myself that my motto of work harder came just this year. And I've always worked hard, but I think as a younger person, I could have worked harder because you think like, I've never been in New York. I've been in New York, but I've never performed in New York. And so it is something that I'm thinking about now. I am thinking about like, that is something I would like to do. So I am starting to look at bucket list things and how going to a place where I don't know anyone, you don't have the safety net of friends and family, but you just go into a room and go, and people are just there and say, okay, do your thing. So obviously the one thing I would change is the whole premise of the play, that this play would never exist. It wouldn't need to exist because, but
yeah, wow.
Out of situations like this, something comes out of it. It's really not anything I wanted to have to write. But again, at this point, I don't think it's for me. At this point, it's not for me.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we're coming to the end of things here. So real quick, I want to jump into our lightning round. So short answers. I'm just going to fire a couple of questions out. Let's just first thing that hits. Let's throw some spaghetti at the wall here. See what happens.
Okay.
All right. One word to describe opening night of my woman show at Fringe. What was that like?
Confusing.
Confusing. Okay.
Yeah, you want more, but you're not going to get it.
That's okay. That's okay. I love that.
I know you're not, but I videotaped myself in the car an hour and a half before. I interviewed myself just because I was not sure what I was feeling.
Oh, wow.
I felt like somebody who was about to be executed. But I knew when I was going to be executed, and it was an hour and a half at the Madnani, I know I'm going to be killed. But I was like, it's okay. It's going to happen. And I'm like, I cannot go to Disneyland right now.
No.
Sorry, you said one answer. I promised all the rest will be
all good. No. I love this though. I love this. I'm glad that prompt.
Like, I don't know what I'm feeling. It wasn't excitement. It was just, I don't know.
Yeah. Awesome. I love that. All right.
Sorry.
Playwright or actor, which one wins if they're arguing in your head? You're working on a project. You got something. What wins?
Playwright.
Playwright. Okay. Guitar or script? Which one do you reach to when you're stuck?
I'm stuck.
Yeah.
Guitar.
Okay. Bosch, Legacy, or Criminal Minds? Which set was weirder?
Bosch. What was Legacy?
Yeah.
Bosch, Legacy,
and Criminal Minds.
Well, the fact is, I don't even remember what Legacy was.
Okay.
Did I do that? Oh, Bosch Legacy. Bosch Legacy is one thing.
Yes.
So you're saying I thought it was three things. So it's Bosch
sorry.
Legacy, that's one. Or
Legacy was the spinoff, of the original Bosch,
Which one was weirder? Criminal Minds. I did it twice.
Okay.
I think I may have done it, twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I saw you did season 3, and then you were back in season 8 as a different character because I might have wished you.
Because somebody left the show. On the first episode, I had a whole plot, a whole storyline, and I think it was the Mandy Patinkin quit the show episode. So he didn't come into work. So to justify that, they took away my whole storyline.
Because they killed him in that episode, right? They killed him off screen.
All I know is that I didn't get to do what I was supposed to do. I ended up with one word. I had like 4 scenes. and a whole thing. My wife gets killed. It's the whole episode.
Yeah.
And then he didn't show up to work. And so they changed everything. And they go, here's your line. And they shot me from like 200 feet away. And I'm just screaming, no, when I see her dead body. And
oh, wow.
Because of that, they said, you can come back and play a serial killer. Nobody will even know you were on the show. So I was like,
200 feet away. Yeah, absolutely. Nobody knows. That's amazing.
So that was cool.
Wow. And to be on the set on that episode when that
again, I think I'm bad luck. It's me. I think I'm bad luck. Don't hire me.
You're like the Grim Reaper for shows.
Yeah.
Oh, God. All right. Best note you've ever gotten from a director.
Take the seatbelt off your work.
Interesting.
Well, that's what I thought. It was a voiceover guy, and he had a very thick accent. And he said, take the seatbelt off your work. And I went, okay. And he goes, no, do it now. And I went, all right, let's do it. It was a voiceover. I said, let's action. And he goes, no, do it before we do it. I'm like, how can I take the seatbelt off your work before we do it? And his accent, he actually said, take a sip of water. I was like, I said, I'm not punking you. I said, I swear to God, I don't know what you're telling me to do. I was going to cry.
Oh, Lord.
And I went, I think I like take the seatbelt off your work better. It's kind of cool. It's like, just let it go. I was like, I get it. Cool. What a weird way to tell me to do that. And he's like, no, just your voice sounds like shit.
Fuck, man, water. That's amazing. All right. Worst note you've ever gotten from a director?
Louder. Or just, that'd be funnier. That
more.
Kind of thing. Yeah, just do, or even do whatever.
Yeah.
I don't like that note. Or just do one more for you. I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to do one more for me. I'm good.
Yeah.
Because it's never for you. It's like, all that means is we didn't like what you've done so far. So just do one more before we fire you.
Fair. Yeah. A play or show that you wish you'd written.
Well, it's not even a play. Well, I'm a big Martin McDonagh fan.
Okay.
I love his stuff. So, I don't know. I like Tracy Lett's work. So it's not even when I'm hit by a piece of theater or something. I know this is the lightning round.
It's okay.
But when I'm hit by something, it's just like, it's not even that you get a little jealous, which is good, I guess. But you get a little jealous. You just think like when something makes you question if you want to continue doing it. I've never had that with writing. I've always felt like no matter what I see, I'll always feel like I have something to contribute as a writer, whether people like it or not.
Yeah.
I don't feel that with acting. I feel like there's plenty of people who are phenomenal actors, but I think sometimes doing it in my own piece or something, it's something that I want to do. It's something that feeds me. But writing has always been something I feel like. So when somebody writes something and I'm really floored by it, or the direction is great, or it's an amazing performance, it's just amazing because you're thinking about it. You're like, wow, I would love to do that. So I get that feeling a lot where you feel like, wow, that was great. But it's usually just like, it makes me want to go home and work harder. It makes me want to go, try to, when somebody wins an Oscar, I'm sure every year there's people who get inspired. There's a lot of people that start writing their screenplay like the day after the Oscars because they're like, I want to do that. And it's not that they really want the gold trophy. It's that you want everything around it. You want a performance or some piece of work that affects people so strongly.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of strong work that affects people, the most truthful moment you've ever had on stage. Not a joke. Like what is like the most truthful experience that you think you've had?
Did I already say the thing about omitting the line about my parents? Did I say that today?
No.
I didn't?
No.
In this play, there's a line where I say, I talk about my mom my mom being at a party and my dad being gone. Like when he passes away, I see my mom and I'm like, wow, that's what my mom is going to look like at parties when my dad is no longer alive. And I said that to my girlfriend. And during the play of this run, after the performance, Dan came up to me and said, "Hey, it was really nice, considerate omission tonight." And I went, "What are you talking about?" Dan's like, you didn't say the part about your mom and dad. My mom and dad were in the audience that night, and I didn't say it.
Oh,
and I'm like, I omitted it subconsciously. I didn't even know. I was like, I knew that I'd have to say this line in front of my parents, and yet the psyche just said, "Nope, you're not saying that. You're not bringing that."
We're just bridging that gap. Yeah.
Yeah. And then anytime something happens on stage that wasn't supposed to happen, I was choking one night, but I'm like, I had a bottle of water on stage. Anytime something happens, I remember looking through the audience at people and I could see their faces, and I was going down the line, and it's like, oh, this person seems into it. This person seems to be having a good, this person's smiling. And I got to one guy and I had to go back. He looked like this. And I was like, it was like, okay, you're into it. I'm going down. And then I went, I could have been like, oh man, that hurts. This guy hates me.
Yeah.
But I just went back to it and I looked at him again and I went, okay, I can't even deal with that right now.
Yeah. That's amazing.
That's awesome. When somebody has that, and I'm thinking to myself afterwards, I'm like, we're like 4 feet away, right?
Yeah.
I can see you. I can see that. It's basically like wearing a sign that says you suck. And it wasn't that at all. I found out later, but that's what I thought.
Yeah. Just had gas in that moment or something. Yeah.
I don't know, but it was demonstrative.
That's funny. I love that. And yeah, the Madnani is a rather unforgiving venue when it comes to that, because the audience is right there.
Yeah. Which is great.
Yep. Fringe show you caught this year that you're still thinking about?
Well, I had said like Freedom in Limbo definitely caught me. And every show that I saw, I thought definitely it made me wish I could have seen more. Mm-hmm. I was like, if I wasn't, we ran it because I did add 3 shows. I was like, oh, I can't come that night because I'm doing a show that night. You know? So I wish that I would have been able to see more. And it made me excited for next year, whether I'm in it or not, just to go see more shows. That was exciting. That was cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you guys had 4 spaces.
Yeah.
That's 54 shows right there, right?
Yeah. I didn't even see all the ones in my venues.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like but it's really cool because they're so different. Pieces are so different. Mm-hmm. It's just so fun.
Absolutely. All right, finish this sentence. You're workshopping a solo show too long when
you don't like it anymore.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think
10 out of 10, no notes. Yep.
Yeah, yep. If you've given up on it, don't. But I think that you can always find new things, but if you're bored with it, move on. Go to the next thing, It has to. You have to keep finding something from it. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm single. Next.
All right.
Yeah. All right. And I'm kidding. Yeah. Believe me, I'm not rejecting anyone.
Yeah.
They're rejecting me.
Oh.
Okay. Sorry. Back to you, Greg.
If the 4 Postmen wrote a theme song for my one-woman show, what would it be called?
My 5-woman show. Yeah, probably something like that, because everything starts out of that group with, it's not that it's all comedic, but mostly, we have over 150 songs, even maybe more, and 5 different writers. So it's like, you bring something in, it's like, okay, cool. What are we working on now? So it's really fun.
That's a catalog, dude. Damn.
And very often they do write songs for projects that I'm working on.
That's cool. That's awesome to have a group that is just like, yeah, sure. That's a gift. Having that. Yeah. One thing you tell the guy who got kicked out of that solo show workshop.
Good for you. Yeah, good for you. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of, especially for writing.
Yeah.
And I had to teach a teenage drama workshop. For some reason, they said, "Will you teach us?" And I'm like, "Are you sure?" It's writing. I remember a teacher saying, and these were kids like 13 to 18, but I remember the students asking me, "Can we swear? Can we swear in our stuff? Our parents are going to come to see this stuff." And I said,
Yeah.
"Yes, you can." I said, "You can. Of course you can." And I said, all you have to realize is that as the writer, you're responsible for whatever you write. So if you think the risk is worth it, yes, but you could be judged for what you write. You could be criticized for what you write.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think you have the freedom. You should have the freedom to write whatever you want, and not even thinking like, "Oh, there's an audience for everything." It's just like, that's creative expressions. There shouldn't be a police on it. It's like, no, you can't do that. And I think that.
But if you're going to put it out there, you gotta own it.
Yeah, and writing. I don't think writing. I think writing should be one of the freest things. You be able to try whatever you want and succeed or fail.
Absolutely. All right, last one. What's the title of your next show?
I really don't know. I don't know. I don't. My one-woman show at the Electric Lodge.
There you go.
Freeway series. That's very happy. August 1st. And I really don't know. And that's the way I like it. I don't want to know in some ways.
I love it. Stefan, thank you so much for taking the time with me today to talk about all this stuff. It's just fantastic just chilling with you, get to know you, and just getting to talk shop. Yeah, really appreciate it.
Thank you. When are we going to start recording?
Oh, shit.
Touching my nose and pointing.
Yeah, we should do that.
No, I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to it, and thank you for all you guys do.
Oh, our pleasure. Our pleasure. This is Stefan Marks, folks, of my one-woman show, The Search for a Truthful Moment. He is on the LA Freeway circuit with us. Our first date of this next round is August 1st at the Electric Lodge in Venice, followed by September 19th at Theater 68 in North Hollywood, followed by the Outside In Theater in Highland Park, November 14th, and then 3 more dates in early 2027, which we will be getting nailed down soon. Super excited. We are taking this incredible piece of work around greater LA because great theater needs to come to you and be more accessible. So that is our goal. Please come and meet Stefan. Please come and see the other shows that are on this circuit. All the information is at lafreewaycircuit.com. Stefan, where can people find you?
Yeah, I'll be there. August 1st, I'll be there. I'm on, Instagram. I think it's Stefan Marks 13.
Yep. And I got your plays by Stefan Marks linked up here on the QR code.
Yeah, that's the other one.
Yep. And then right here's all the info. Go ahead and scan that right there. My one-woman show, Search for a Truthful Moment, August 1st, the Electric Lodge. Scan that for tickets. At lafreewaycircuit.com for info on the circuit. Please come out and join us. Stefan, thank you again, my friend. This was fantastic, and I'm really excited to hit the road with you.
I'm looking forward to it, Greg. Thanks.
My pleasure. All righty, guys. We will see you guys hopefully next week with another exciting episode. Talk to you all soon.